Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now we are going to discuss the chapter 23, using the work of others or work ethics. Here we see in the definition over here, the first come things in the using of work is the internal audit. Okay, we well know about the importance of an internal audit within an organization. So as we study thoroughly, another internal audit is the duty to check the accounting system, to check the true and fairness of the accounting system, and have to provide the complete accuracy information to the board and to the management, to the audit committee for the discussion about the financial matters information. Basically, internal auditors are the employees of the organization, but their duty is to conduct an audit about the accounting system of an entity and report to the audit committee, report to the management, report to the board of directors for the betterness, for the effectiveness, and for the efficiency. The internal audit function is monitoring activities tabled by the management and the directors of for the review of internal control. Okay, internal audit do the monitor. We have the monitoring activity. As this monitoring activity is directed or set by the management and the directors to review the internal control of an entity. Similarly, we have to remember that the directors are required under corporate governance code to review the need of the internal audit. According to the corporate governance code, this is the need to conduct the internal audit within the organization, because you have to, being a board director, check the internal control, check the true and fairness of the entity. Normally, to achieve an element of the independence from the executive directors, you would expect the internal audit to report to the audit committee, which is responsible for monitoring and reviewing the effectiveness of the internal audit. Okay, internal audit over here have to monitor and have to report to the audit committee. And audit committee is responsible for monitoring and reviewing the effectiveness of the internal audit and have to discuss with the board of directors or the management. Okay, similarly, it's a very easy for the internal audit function is monitoring the activities. Accordingly, set by the management and directors to check the internal control, effectiveness, and efficiency level. Check the different test of controls in the organizations and have to report it internally, not outside. Similarly, we can see that the main function of internal audit department is to examine the data, examine the financial data, examine the different departments data, like we say physical inspection of the an asset, physical inspection of non-current assets, operational wages calculation, how many members are how many employees are working in the warehouse, how many working hours are over there, either these are calculated accordingly, observing it, or you may say checking the inventory. There is a different elements that are held in the audit procedure, and internal auditor do the same as the external auditor for the betterness of the entity and have to report to the management, to the committee, audit committee, evaluate it. And once the data examine, now it's the time to evaluate. Like I say, auditor reperform the depreciation, and after the evaluation or interrogation, the possessions are accurately calculated. So he will write a opinion accordingly about the true and fairness of the data. And in his report to the management and directors, they adequately effectiveness of the internal control, and they told to the management about the either the adequately the internal controls are effectively working or efficiently working or not. They will play a major part in designing the internal control system and will report to the departure from the system and give suggestion about where it can be improved. Similarly, internal audit not only the examine, not only the evaluate, not only report to the management about the internal control, but they also give their judge on their judgment and their prior experience or expertise opinion about the improvement. The entity need in this area need to be improved, need to be improved because of the betterness of an entity. Internal audit functions, we may see in our next slide, actually helps achievement of corporate objectives. Yes, it is the, you may say, the internal audit function or objective that is help the corporate for the betterness or to make to achieve the entity goals. You may say that profit for the organization or give the safeguard to assets or properly recorded transaction. Because of this, the accounting system will be strong. Because of this, the monitoring will be strong, the fraudulent activities will be less, and the more profit will be held in the entity. So these all are because of the internal audit duties or functions. So the main objective of internal audit is to give the secure way to get the profit and to less the fraud. Have to assess the risk. As we studied the risk, internal audit similarly have to check the audit risk, have to check the true and fairness of the assertions. Is there is a lot of misleading data is over there, or there is a little. So how much risk is over there? So have to check, have to assess with the different test of controls. Likely you may say that with accordingly the internal controls, have to check it. How much risk is over there, and have to report it in the report with the audit committee. Improves efficiency and effectiveness, as this is the duty or this is the function of an auditor. Improve where there is a flaws in the accounting system. So auditor, as they are the expert in the accounting system, more they know more about the accounting system, so they suggest and they improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the entity. Design the internal control system. Maybe a lot of experience, they do the experience with the different department, so they need to suggest they have to prepare the internal control system or organization. Like we say that our purchase system, either we properly order the form, we properly do the pre-requisition, we properly dispatch this requisition form to our supplier, and supplier properly dispatches to with the invoices, and we make the proper payment, and each and every stage is properly record according to their ledgers. So this is called this kind of system maybe are discussed or maybe advised by the internal control. Check operations of internal control system. So audit, the duty of internal audit have to check the operations of internal control system. Mean to say that from start to the end, from where the auditor have to trace it easily or not, from the payment last point of goods, or from the pre-requisition. What will be the system is over there? Is there is a invoices supervision is over there? Is there the payment procedure via bank or not via cash? So have to check and have to define what will be the design of internal control. Checks operation of internal control system. So auditor have different test of controls to check the operation of internal control system. There may be no supervision on the invoices, there may be directly paid to the vendors. So we have to check these kind of operation of the internal control system. Either these of the operation were highly operated, so there is a, you may say that uh, um, chance of probability 80 to 90% fraudulent, because there is a no check, and because of no check or monitoring procedure, there may be a fraudulent activity can be performed over there. So test the IT control. Similarly, auditor have to check the audit program to test the client data. Auditor have the different set of instruction. Mean to say that they have the software to check the client's information, either this is truly or not. You may say that he also check the program of a client, either on which like we say that in like peach tree, either peach tree is controlled by the entity working properly or not. The auditor have the dummy data, feed it to the peach tree, and have to check the result. Either these are results are accordingly as he expecting or not. So liases with external auditor and share. So this is also the main function of internal auditor, because internal auditors know very well about their accounting system of entity. They know very well about the audit. They very well know about the different department access of the data. So they facilitate the auditors, external auditors, to get the information or collect the data. Using the work of internal audit. Okay, it may be the external audit decide to use the work of internal audit, provided the internal audit. What he have to do is the objective and supported the organizational statement. Is competent not only in terms of the professional qualification and experience, but whether it has adequate resources and applies the systematic and disciplined approach to planning, performing, and documenting its activity, including quality control. Okay, in the start, external audit may be decided to use the work of internal audit, because on the work of the internal audit, the external audit do the things via systematic and discipline and plan to perform the audit procedure. Via this, they have to examine or interrogate the documents, activity, and quality of the control. Okay, using the work by internal audit example from where auditor rely on the work of third party. Okay, you can see over in this slide external third party work using by the auditor is example of, we can say, relying on experts such as the state agents, securities, and the lawyers. You have to check the obligations and regulation. You have to check the opinions of lawyers, of entity lawyers, relying on the work of the other external auditors. So it may be auditor have to rely the work on work of the other external auditors who previously done this work and suggests and find different conclusions. So you may be being internal auditor have to cross check, have to reevaluate, and have to suggest the improvement for the entity. There are different type of major are two classes are over here. We can see that field other than the accounting or auditing. Management expert. Okay, these are two classes of expert. Expert in field other than accounting or auditing. These people are not related to the accounting or auditing. They are the expert. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is the part B from our previous lecture. Because of internet disconnectivity, I do my second recording over here from this one slide where we left. Okay, there are two classes of experts. Like we say that whose are not, these classes are not having expertise in accounting and auditing. So the one is the management expert, the second is the auditor's expert. So management experts basically assisting the management in preparing the financial statement. They are helping for preparing the financial statement with the different specs, with the different information. Like they may be like as liars, like they may be tell about the contingent liability that is recorded in the financial statements. So management management expert persons are helping the management to prepare financial management to preparing the financial statement of the entity. The second one is the auditor expert assists the auditors in obtaining sufficient appropriate audit evidence, maybe internal or external to the audit firm. These are the experts which are not having expertise in accounting or you may say the auditing, but they are giving you the assistance in the collecting the evidence about the different internal or external evidence about different matters, different other matters, different relevant matters. Either these are the internal audit or these are the external audit. So we may see that if the work of management expertise to be used as audit evidence, the auditor must evaluate. Okay, here we say the auditor have to evaluate for what? The expert competence, capabilities, and objectivities. Either have to checking, have to evaluating the expert's competency. Either the expert having the such competency to helping the collection of the evidences or not, having the capabilities, qualifying capabilities, prior experience, knowledge about, and the objectivity. Either they want to help out for the organization in the term of an auditor, having the objectivity to find true and fair for the audit, true and fair information for the audit, or maybe there is a criminal activity. Main overall objectivity is have to check or evaluate or interrogate the data. So they are not interrogating the data, but they are providing the help to the management preparing the financial statement, as well as to give the as well as to help the audit for collecting the evidences. The appropriateness of their work to the relevant assertions, whether it is sufficient, reliable for audit purpose, accurate and the complete, sufficient, precise and detailed. Uh, they all auditor have to evaluate, also have to evaluate the appropriateness of their work relevant to the assertions. Maybe they have to what the evidences they gives to the auditor, either these are appropriate, they are relevant assertions, what the auditor need in their audit procedure or not, whether they are sufficient or reliable audit purpose using for, either they are accurate, complete and sufficiently processed and details. So you mean to say here, you mean to say that there is proper accuracy, proper complete of the information, proper sufficient evidences, and these are the reliable or not. So auditor have to evaluate the competency of the expertise, capabilities of the expertise, objectivity of the expertise, have to check the relevant assertion, either these are the relevant, sufficient and complete with the all aspect that is using for an audit procedure. Okay, here we can see the following matter must be agreed in writing with the auditor experts. What they have to need to be agreed in the writing: nature, scope and objective of the work. They have very well know about the nature. They have to scope and objectives of the work, what the working is, what is the aim for the organization, what is the efficiency and effectiveness level, what are the procedures of the accounting system, respective responsibilities, what they are doing, what the duties they have, what the job description they have, nature, scope and timing of the communication. One have to communicate, one have to ask the question, one have to check the, like I say, in a year start the inventory is done. So there are, in the start inventory notes are available, dispatch notes are available, pre-requisition notes are available or not. So timely communicated with the supplier, timely communicated with the vendors, everything I have to check by the auditor. And this is the in the writing available. That the expert observe confidentially, the auditor must evaluate the adequacy of the expert working, including what they have to check the expertise work, including over here consistency with other evidence. Consistency with other evidence. For example, what is the consistency with other evidence? For example, if a property value reported a decrease in the value of client's property portfolio, yet the newspaper were full of news about the property boom, the auditor should challenge the valuated results. Okay, some of the management expert give the opinion or give the assertion. As we stated, the assertion must have the accuracy, completeness, and relevancy. It may be the expert give evidence of assertion to the auditor about the property value. The value of the property is decreasing. But on the other hand, the auditor knows from the different source of the information in like a newspaper, he stated that the value of property is going up. So over here, auditor have to challenge this one, the result of the valuer, the result of the expert. Use and accuracy of the source of the data. Yes, auditor always rely on the source of the data, how much accurate the data is. Either it's come from the proper source as primary data, secondary data, fluctuated data, market-based data, or just randomly fluctuated data in the air. So what kind of the source are there? There may be a proper SCCP organization who is issuing proper note about in portfolio or investment about the share, or someone just saying in the air this is the price of the shares. So proper source is over there. The value property, the valuer must start up to the date list of the properties to the company owns. Up to date list. The valuer always have to check the up to date list about the prices of any or about the value of any assets. Thank you very much.